Welcome. What you bring, who you are, enriches us all. We say welcome to your joy, your hope, your pride. We say welcome to your grief, your fear, your anger, and your sadness. And the parts of you that are not yet ready to be seen and heard, welcome to them as well. You are welcome. My name is Eric Tschuy. I will be your worship leader today for our pastor, Reverend Robin Zucker. Eastrose acknowledges that for at least 13,000 years, many tribes and bands have made their lives here, where our church home and our communities now exist. We remember and honor these people who made their homes in this land, the ones here now and those who lived here before. In peace, may we share this land and honor one another. Let's take a moment now and greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. So for those online, please stand and face the cameras that are by the clock on the back wall and wave a warm hello to our friends, and then turn to your neighbors. That is a warm welcome and warm conversation indeed. I love it. You'll be able to continue these afterwards out in the lobby. I don't know if we have coffee today, but we'll just...
Yes, we have coffee today.
Thank you, Cynthia. We will have coffee. After all this ice, we deserve it. So for our online guests now, an announcement for you people online. If you'd like to share a joy or sorrow during that portion of the service, you can do so by entering it in the YouTube chat, and those will be shared aloud with everyone when the time comes. I also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so we may better acknowledge your presence with us today. So now we're going to go on to our responsive call to worship, which is 442 in your blue hymnals, right? Gray hymnals, sorry. We Bid You Welcome by Richard S. Gilbert. So I will read the yellow, which is coming up, and you guys get to read the white. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit, seeking rest.
Who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid.
We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart.
Who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous.
We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith.
Who come to probe and explore, who come to learn.
We bid you welcome who enter this hall as a homecoming.
Who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family.
Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey,
We bid you welcome.
the chalice lighting is A Communion of Heart and Soul by Ruth Southworth. For the gift of this day and for a community of spiritual nurture and compassion, we give thanks. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith. May our many sparks meet and merge in communion of heart and soul.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Now, just nice to see everyone now that the dust has settled, literally.
Yeah.
And Ryan is here. Thank you so much, Ryan, for everything you've done. So my opening words today are from Joy in Ordinary Time by the Reverend Meg Barnhouse. She says, "Celebrate being alive, drawing breath. Celebrate that you are achingly sad today and it will pass. It's good to be able to feel feelings. Celebrate that there was a love so big and good that it hurts to lose it. That there was a time so sweet that you ache remembering it. Honor the flowering of the tomato plants, the opening of the daylilies, the lemon smell of magnolias. Honor the ache of your heart and your tears falling. Life is mostly ordinary time shot through with light and pain and love. Lavish joy on ordinary time. Hope is a wonderful thing." Our opening hymn is number 18, What Wondrous Love. The words will also be on the screen. Please rise as you are willing and able.
What
Tara will come up with a time for all ages. We invite the children and all ages to come forward.
Sorry about that. So today's story is not about anything very happy. It's about sadness. Sadness is a feeling most of us would rather avoid. It doesn't feel very good, does it? But sadness is a normal emotion to have. All of us, without exception, feel sad sometimes. Maybe when something goes wrong, or we feel left out, or we miss someone, or we have hurt feelings. Sadness brings us a message that we need some extra care from ourselves or from the people who love us. Sadness, like pain from an injury, excuse me, reminds us to take time to heal. So imagine if sadness showed up at your front door. It's holding a suitcase, and it's here to visit you for a while. What would you do? Would you invite it in? Would you ask it what it wants? Would you play with it? That's what this book is about, When Sadness is at Your Door by Eva Eland. Sometimes sadness arrives unexpectedly. It follows you around and sits so close to you, you can hardly breathe. You can try to hide it, but it feels like you've become sadness yourself. Try not to be afraid of sadness. Give it a name. Listen to it. Ask where it comes from and what it needs. If you don't understand each other, just sit together and be quiet for a while. Find something that you both enjoy, like drawing, listening to music, or drinking hot chocolate. Maybe sadness doesn't like to stay inside. Try letting it out sometimes. Go for a walk through the trees. You can listen to their sounds together. Maybe all it wants to know is that it's welcome. And to sleep, knowing it is not alone. When you wake up, it might be gone. Don't worry, today is a new day. It turned out that sadness was not a scary monster or even a terrible house guest. Sadness needed time, attention, and care. Reverend Robin and the grown-ups have more to explore about sadness and other difficult feelings, while we are going to go explore together in our classroom. So if everybody along the aisle could form a bridge, we'll sing our children out. Thank you.
Now we're going to have some quiet amid all the words. Thank you, Eric. I invite you to put your feet on the floor and uncross your arms and close your eyes and take one big cleansing breath. Where do you feel tension? In your forehead, in your face, your neck or shoulders, your arms? Move down your body, feeling where there's tension and where you can create spaciousness with your breath. And then breathe in 4 beats slowly through your nose and 5 or 6 beats out slowly through your mouth in an intentional, steady rhythm, creating that spaciousness as you move through the breath. No high thinking, no problem solving, no, am I doing this right? No, is someone looking at me? Just breathing. Breathe and allow. We'll just breathe quietly together now. And your feelings. Let the breath support you wherever you are. It goes wherever you are. Stop and feel. Breathe and allow. Try to bring yourself gently out of your breathing rhythm. Take a few more rounds and then come back into this space gently. And then another deep cleansing breath. Our quiet song is number 83 in the gray hymnal, Winds Be Still. Please remain seated.
The first reading is The Maya's Sadness. It's a traditional Yucatecan story from the legends of ancient Yucatan in Mexico. One day, the animals came to a Maya man and said, "We do not want to see you sad. Ask for what you want, and you shall have it." The Maya man said, "I want to be happy." The barn owl replied, "Who knows what is happiness? Ask us more human things." "Well," said the man, "I want to have good eyesight." The vulture said, "You'll have mine." "I want to be strong." The jaguar said, "You will be strong like me." "I want to walk without getting tired." The deer said, "I'll give you my legs." "I want to predict when the rains will come." The nightingale said, "I'll let you know with my song." "I want to be smart." The fox said, "I'll teach you how." "I want to climb trees." The squirrel said, "I'll give you my nails." "I want to know the medicinal plants." The serpent said, "That's up to me because I know all the plants. I will mark them out in the field." And hearing this, the Maya man went away. Then the barn owl said to the animals, "Man now knows more things and can do more things, but he will always be sad. The only way to know happiness is to learn how to be sad." This other one is called Island of Feelings, Source Unknown. Once upon a time, there was a secluded island where all the feelings lived. Happiness, sadness, anger, trust, the rest of the feelings, and all others that accompany feelings, including love and time. As long as they lived, everyone in the world was able to have them. But then one day it was announced the island was going to sink. So they all had to vacate the island as soon as possible or die. And with their deaths, everyone in the world would lose them forever. All the feelings and company quickly began to prepare their boats to leave as soon as possible. Love was the only one who decided to stay until the island would start to sink. But when the moment came and love wanted to leave, it found itself without a boat. Someone else must have taken it. Love started to worry, and then suddenly it saw Wealth. As Wealth was passing by in his most beautiful boat, Love said, "Wealth, can you take me with you?" Wealth answered, "No, I can't. There's a lot of gold and silver in my boat, and sadly, there is no place here for you." Next, Love saw Vanity, who was also passing by. "Vanity, please help me," pleaded Love. "I can't help you, Love. You're all wet and would damage my boat if I take you in," Vanity answered. Sadness was close by, so Love asked for help. "Sadness, let me go with you." Sadness unwillingly responded, "Oh, Love, I am so sad that I prefer to go alone." Happiness passed by Love too, but she was so happy and cheerful that she did not hear when Love called her. Love was in disbelief. It was doomed to go down with the island. But then suddenly there was an elderly voice. "Come, Love, I will take you." Love became so happy that he even forgot to ask the elder her name. When they arrived at dry land, the elder went on her own way. Love came across Knowledge and asked him if he knew who was the elder that helped him. "It was Time," answered Knowledge. "Time? But why did Time help me?" asked Love. "Because only Time is capable of understanding how valuable love is," answered Knowledge. Love and time became inseparable, even though many people forget about the importance of them together and neglect one when taking care of the other.
Poor Prince George of Wales was grumpy. His adorable mug crinkled into a sad pout. The toddler, bedecked in red shorts and a pin-tuck shirt, was being asked to wave to a horde of cackling strangers, walk alongside his father dutifully, and smile through it all. But he was grumpy. He ended up being carried, and the press couldn't get enough of it. Comments from the trolls poured in. What does he have to be grumpy about? He's a prince, for criminy sake. Did I mention that he was 2 at the time? He's 10 now, poised and princely. And he was a toddler-sized human being, not a commemorative doll. Even so, we are gobsmacked that he might exhibit a negative emotion. Whatever could be wrong, we want happy Prince George. Give us the happy boy. And then perhaps you're familiar with the internet sensation known as Grumpy Cat. We have a picture of him. Sadly, Grumpy Cat died recently, but not after making quite a splash and having millions of fans. Now, Grumpy Cat makes a lot more sense than Grumpy Dog. I mean, if you've had both, you understand what I mean. As you know, Grumpy Cat was a real live cat that genuinely looks grumpy all the time. It's quite amusing. His meme pops up everywhere, and we don't seem to mind Grumpy Cat as much as we recoiled from Grumpy Little Prince. Thank you, John. You can take Grumpy Cat away. Prince George's emotional spectrum takes us by surprise in our photoshopped, selfie-obsessed popular culture. Closer to home, we find out a couple we know is getting divorced or experiencing some hiccups, and we might be inclined to say, really, them? They always look so happy on Instagram and all those vacation photos and at those barbecues with their shiny children and photogenic friends. The dissonance between the cheery, jerry-rigged images and the glamour reality can be startling and thought-provoking, especially when many of us are living in a grayer space. We certainly were all living in a grayer space during the pandemic. Think about how we often respond to the query, "How are you?" or "How goes it?" Typically, we're quick to chirp, "Great," or "Everything's good," or "Just fine and dandy," or "Swell," or "Never better." I had a neighbor when I lived in Concord, Massachusetts, whom I would encounter on my daily walks, and her reply was a realistic but still non-committal, "Not bad, not bad," every single time. Yes, of course, I get the down and dirty, bad news from people too. As a minister, I'm here to listen to the true, unvarnished answers to the question, "How are you?" But interestingly, over the course of my ministry, folks have admitted that they do not want me to know about their suffering because I might think less of them. And I have to say how touching and beautiful it is that people are willing to get up and share their suffering. It says a lot about this community and your trust for one another. So I do not think less of you for being human. But folks have somehow thought that they needed to impress me with their mastery of human existence, even during the pandemic. And this is 100% inaccurate, because I'm not trying to convince you that I have 100% mastery of human existence either. But I understand that fear and tendency. If asked, many people will tell you that they would prefer to be in the company of happy people. Yet studies suggest this is actually only a preference when one is truly happy themselves. If you're happy, you want to be around happy people. For most of us, our deeper yearning is to be able to express the full range of emotions that make us human without censure, without judgment or rejection, and to find that expression mirrored in the authenticity of others, especially our nearest and dearest. This requires us first to not reject the so-called negative emotions in ourself when they arise, even if it feels like a revolutionary act that cuts against the grain of a don't worry, be happy culture, determined to make us smile until it hurts, even when we are already hurting or anxious. Tara's story so perfectly reflected that. In fact, we force faux happiness so much in our culture that it breeds unhappiness. Doom scrolling breeds unhappiness. In Man's Search for Meaning, Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl tells us, our current mental hygiene philosophy stresses the idea that people ought to be happy, that unhappiness is a symptom of maladjustment. We are afraid of sadness, he says, even as it serves a purpose in helping human beings to survive. We get our ideas about happiness from many, many corners, including religion. In a really provocative piece for Medium, which is an online blog entitled My Spiritual Aversion to Having a Bad Day, the author, John Headley, recalls a pastor telling him that if he had a bad day, if he was sad, he must not be much of a believer or very close to God. Talk about damaging. It seemed like I was always surrounded by seemingly happy people, he tells us, because being happy was synonymous with being faithful. Negative emotions were seen as a sign of an attack from the devil. So when Headley left evangelical Christianity, no shocker there, for Buddhist practice, he was relieved to find a belief system that began with the central notion that suffering arises from our constant attempt to be rid of it. He writes, I want an uncensored, unsanitized faith where being fully human is celebrated. I want a spirituality that doesn't get offended when I'm sad. I hope and believe that's true of us as well. On the flip side, some of us might be squirmy about appearing too content. Psychologist Gretchen Rubin relates the most pernicious myth about happiness that holds that in a world so full of suffering, you can be happy only if you are callous and self-centered. Another killjoy suggests that happy people always become wrapped up in their own pleasure, they're complacent and uninterested in the world. Wrong. Studies show that quite to the contrary, happier people are more likely to help others. They're more interested in social problems. They do more volunteer work and they contribute more to charity. They're less preoccupied with their personal problems too. And by contrast, less happy people are more apt to be defensive, isolated, even self-absorbed, and unfortunately, these negative moods can be catching. Technical name, emotional contagion. Just as eating your dinner doesn't help starving children in India, being blue yourself doesn't help unhappy people become happier. Surprisingly complicated. As we're aware, depression is a real thing. Many of us in this room have either experienced it ourselves or have people in our lives who have experienced it. It's a serious thing, a gripping, depleting thing. But this morning, we're not taking our train of thought all the way to that station. Rather, we've landed in that more amorphous happy land where sadness is a pariah, along with anger, fear, anxiety, and the ilk. A curated kingdom that can magnify a sense of failure and fakery. The thing is, and I cannot say this enough times, it's okay to not be okay. And there has never been a better time than now to ditch the toxic positivity that's become rooted in American culture. Being able to look on the bright side at will can also be a sign of privilege not everyone shares. All we need to do is look around the world to see that. It's okay to not be okay, and also be optimistic about the future. As Meg Barnhouse said in my opening words, hope is a beautiful thing. Now, I'd like to pay homage now to the Disney Pixar gods. That's harder to say than I thought. The Disney Pixar gods for producing the film Inside Out as a perfect vehicle for my message today. You may have seen the film when it was released or on a streaming service. It's really worth a viewing if you haven't. It's safe to say that this remarkable, unique, and dazzling film explores the importance of sadness in a way that's never been done before on the screen. I certainly haven't seen it. Now, spoiler alert, as Lynn Cinnamon summarizes in her blog, in the film, and we'll see, yeah, here she is. In the film, 11-year-old Riley suddenly finds her entire personality and emotional makeup in peril after her parents move her from Minnesota to San Francisco. But inside her, and we'll see the second picture now, inside her, and these are the main characters of the film, inside her resides representation of 5 of the 6 universal emotions humans express with their face. Joy, she's in the front there, in the green. She's been the benevolent ruler of Riley's young life and strives to stay in control without interfering too much when fear, anger, and disgust try to keep Riley safe. She finds it almost impossible, though, to see any possible usefulness in the despondent sadness, which is the blue one with the glasses. Thanks, John. Riley has had her world literally shaken to its core, but her stressed parents do not ask her how she's doing or tell her it's okay to be sad about her losses. Instead, they praise her for still being their happy girl. This feedback motivates Joy to go into overdrive mode in her attempt to suppress sadness, who at this point is really bubbling over with the blues. This is a beautiful part of the film. When sadness can't control her compulsion to touch memories, an action that imbues them with her blue, she tells Joy she's having a breakdown. Instead of trying to listen and understand sadness, an irritated Joy responds with false positivity and manipulation. Sadness is a threat to a happy life, Joy thinks. Sadness, she believes, will destroy all the glittering wonder inside of Riley. This eye-popping film also beautifully shows how current emotions can color our memories. Sadness wanted to touch everything because that is how Riley was really feeling. And this made Joy freak out because she thought those memories would forever be cast in blue. She also believed the blue was an impenetrable stain. And this struggle between joy and sadness illustrates part of why we can hurt so badly inside. The eventual harmony and understanding between joy and sadness in the story illustrates how we can heal, which is not by eliminating sadness or by squashing joy, but by letting them live together inside of us. Joy and sorrow woven fine together, always. That is a human life. We can heal by letting them join hands and color our moments together. For a fairly large chunk of this animated tour de force, Riley is left to navigate her new world with only fear, anger, and disgust because joy and sadness in their battle have been sucked through a tube into the maze of long-term memory. But as these negative emotions run amok by themselves, Riley's very personality starts to disintegrate. She needs the influence of both joy and sadness to be whole, to be a whole and functional human being. Yet the film does not sideline these negative emotions, even if they are bit players compared to joy and sadness. And that's why I find this film that was made for children so remarkable, really a remarkable story. The emotional bad guys are canaries in the coal mine and the Jiminy Crickets on our shoulders. They keep things real, too. In an article for Psychology Today, Matthew Houston suggests that negative emotions do us a great favor by saving us from ourselves. They're signals urging us to change what we're doing, and they're actually necessary for feeling good. We have the wrong idea about emotions, he tells us. They're very rational. They are tools carved by eons of human experience to direct us where we need to go. He explains that anger, for instance, really arises from feeling devalued and unloved. Anger is always a secondary emotion. It's often that there's just a very thin veil between our anger and more vulnerable feelings like fear or hurt. Anger is a response, not really a feeling. And yes, anger can be a useful tool for taking risks, asserting ourselves, and building confidence. But that when it bubbles over into rage, it morphs into a destructive force. While most negative emotions, such as fear, encourage us to avoid situations, anger typically stimulates approach. Well-directed and modulated, anger can motivate us as individuals and a society to take action, and it can fuel progress to social justice. The Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron advises us to make friends with our fears. But we more often fear our fears. We want to wall them off. They are the snake in the corner, and we want to get as far away from them as we possibly can. Yet without fear, we become haphazard risk takers. In fact, in the film, Riley needs her fear impulse to stay out of harm's way. But anxiety is a very different animal. When we are afraid but can't directly address the threat, that fear becomes anxiety. Fear or anxiety about how we're living our lives, about how we are faring or others will fare, how our country and our world is faring. As we slog through this chaotic time of social unrest, of wars around the world, of personal pressures, our anxiety can point to ways in which we're not being true to ourselves, ways in which our actions don't really align with our deeper values. Now, each of these so-called negative emotions, along with disgust, regret, embarrassment, envy, jealousy, frustration, boredom, there sure are a lot of them, they can serve as a beacon, shepherding us back to a more fully and more balanced human authenticity. And in case you didn't hear it the first couple times, not being okay is totally fine and acceptable as your human authenticity. It's okay to not be okay. So now we've traveled full circle, back to the core question of authentic happiness. 20 years ago, I realize now, when I was accumulating more coaching and counseling skills, I enrolled in a 23-week distance learning course on positive psychology with Dr. Martin Seligman, who is the acknowledged godfather of the positive psychology genre. And distance learning was kind of newer back then. There were lots of glitches, but it was worthwhile. Since then, his ideas have spawned master's level courses at Ivy League colleges, a plethora of books, scads of blogs spewing what I call inspiration porn on the internet, and sold out courses at retreat centers like Kripalu and Omega with snappy names like Find Your Radiant Joy and The Spirit and Science of Happy. There is a whole happiness industry out there. And in some cases, it doesn't help people be happier. It promotes the very toxic positivity that we should be trying to avoid. Clearly, many people, us, generally want to be happier, or at least to maintain whatever state of passing grade happiness that we currently possess. Yet, Dr. Seligman has made it very clear from the start that authentic happiness, his term, is not perpetual joy or some unconditional bliss bestowed by the universe. His paradigm goes so much deeper, suggesting that an authentically happy life is one woven through with broad and well-developed fulfillment, crafted out of the materials of both joy and sorrow. And he asks us to mindfully blend three elements in our lives. I think of them as the three legs on a stool of authentic happiness: pleasure, engagement, and meaning. This requires us to grapple with the darker corners, not just the sunny window seat, and to be content with being happyish. Like Dr. Seligman, I'm all for joy, but I'm an even bigger booster of the pursuit of full-spectrum humanity, a place where sadness touches us with blue and makes us more tender, more grounded, more resilient, and surprisingly more whole by allowing ourselves to feel brokenness, a place for meaning-making by helping others. In your own life, how might you balance personal pleasure, engagement in authentic relationships, and meaning-making in the broader world in order to craft a fulfilling life for yourself, a happyish life of authentic happiness, even in these less than optimal or limited circumstances? I read once, maybe it was in a colleague's sermon, I can't remember, that you have to decide, are you a Tigger or an Eeyore? The iconic diametrically opposed characters from Winnie the Pooh. It's a useful question for deciding whether you'll begin your pursuit of happyishness from a standpoint of optimism or pessimism. Even so, the world does need its share of Eeyores. Solemn, highly sensitive, realistic, vulnerable creatures. Moreover, Eeyore exists in every one of us. He balances out that annoyingly hyperactive Tigger. And unless we are mugging for Facebook or goofing on TikTok, most of us are not truly 100% Tigger or 100% Eeyore. We aren't completely joy or sadness. We are both, and so much more. The poet Galway Kinnell puts a modern spin on this idea. He explains, crying a little bit is no use. You must cry until your pillow is wet. Then you can get up and laugh. Then you can jump in the shower and splash, splash, splash. Then you can throw open your windows and ha, ha, ha. And if anyone says, what is going on up there? Ha ha, sing back. Happiness was hiding in my last tear. I wept it. Ha ha. So may it be for us, through all the blue-tinged times of our lives. May we strive to be happyish. Blessed be, blessed we, and amen. Our hymn is number 323, Break Not the Circle. The words will be on the screen. Please rise as you are willing and able.
Sorry, I'm doing 3 flats, it's only got 1 foot.
time for our offering. Half of each week's Sunday collection is shared with a local nonprofit. The fourth quarter of the year, we are sharing the bounty with Snowcap. If you are a first-time visitor, please let the basket pass you by. You are our guest today. We will gratefully receive the gifts of this congregation. Thank you. Although we extinguish this chalice, the flame remains unquenchable. Let us remember that we are not alone between now and when we light this flame again.
Our benediction today is from Maya Angelou's poem called Continue. My wish for you is that you continue. Continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. Continue to allow humor to lighten the burden of your tender heart. Continue in a society dark with cruelty to let the people hear the grandeur of the sacred in your peals of laughter. Continue to remind the people that each is as good as the other and that no one is beneath you. Continue to plant the public kiss of concern on the cheek of the sick, the aged, and the infirm, and count that as a natural act to be expected. Continue to let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer, and let faith be the bridge you use to overcome evil and welcome good. Continue to dare to love deeply, to feel deeply, to risk everything for the good thing. Continue, and by doing so, know that you and your work will be able to continue eternally.
Thank you. So we have a couple of announcements here. Don't forget to read the pedals. There are plenty in the pedals. Here's one called Mystery Pals. Have you heard of that? I think it was in the pedals. We're going to try a fun activity called Mystery Pals from February 18th through Easter, which is March 31st, where adults and kids are paired up as anonymous pen pals. Want to participate? See pedals or talk to Tara for more info. I did it once, and the kid guessed who I was. So, and then one from Robin.
So Keen and I are hosting a meeting on this Tuesday, January 30th at 11 a.m. in my office. It's a meeting to talk about membership and congregational engagement and ways for us to develop ideas for bringing folks more into church activities, vibrancy of activities, and also taking us out into the world. So if you can come to this meeting Tuesday at 11, everyone is welcome. If you can't come and you have ideas, please send them to me or to Keen before the meeting. And now that we're back in the building, we really want to move forward with lots of new, robust ideas for congregational engagement. And, oh yes, I wanted to remind everyone that Karen Goldman's memorial is on February 10th. It was postponed because of the building issue at 1 p.m., and everybody is welcome there. Okay, Cynthia.
For those who don't know me, I'm Cynthia. I'm the president of the board here. And we had a small but very mighty group yesterday from around 10 till I left at noon, and there were still some of them going strong. And I know the family group that was working in the nursery area was really, I'm not going to use the phrase, but they were really making progress. And I can't thank everybody enough. Luna, for example, spent pretty much the whole day in the kitchen. She cleaned every surface on those coffee carts. She took care of everything. Oh my gosh, nothing had been taken out of the refrigerator since November. She had one of the nastiest jobs, and you can rest assured that everything you touch on the coffee cart today is clean. The coffee carafes, the glass, and we're having coffee today. I mean, this is progress. And thank you, John, for making the coffee. I also want to really thank Ryan, who has done a yeoman's job of putting things back together. Essential things like resetting toilets and sinks. Both bathrooms are functional now. There's only one commode in the ladies' room, but there will be two. They are new. They are new, really nice. Yay. And as far as we've come with cleanup, there's still a lot to do. So I'm going to still be putting out calls for people to come in and help us out. Especially, I'd like to get it really shipshape before Karen Goldman's memorial in a couple of weeks. And then the last thing is, how would you like to have a really nice party at the end of February to celebrate all this? Kind of like Winterfest tea. Yay? Okay. Now, I have been running this tea for many years, and I told Robin recently, I'm exhausted. I don't think I can do this anymore. She says, oh, yes, you can, and we need this. And I will make sure that you get all the help you need. So I'm holding her to that. Yeah, anything, clean up, set up, bring food, you know, all of that. I have a list of tasks.
So now it'll be on February 24th.
It'll be on February 24th at 1 o'clock. This is free and open to anyone. Suggested donations will be posted on a jar in the lobby, but you pay what you can, if you can. And it is really fun. So that's
And we won't be having a potluck on February 4th. We won't be ready
Okay.
for that. Is that right?
That I don't know, on February 4th.
That's next week.
Ryan, do you think we're gonna be, we still have some plumbing issues to
All
deal
right,
with
so
in the
we'll have our
kitchen, so
first
I'm not
potluck.
sure about that.
In March, we'll go back to our.
Yeah, March would be better, and we gotta get a plumber out to do some major minor things in the kitchen. Okay, so thank you all, and please say thank you to Ryan and Luna and John and other people who helped. Larry was working really hard getting all those tools put back in there, and all of the folks. And take a look in the nursery area, how nice it looks. Yeah, okay, thank you all.
Okay, I have one more. So we've been collecting things for the unhoused and haven't really been able to get together to put together the care bags. So actually, after the service on the 11th, if you can stay and help put together these bags, that would be great. And then we can distribute them out to folks who need them. Thanks. And you can still contribute to that. The list is still in Pebbles. Linda is passing it out.
We have planned the 3rd this year, Friendship Circle Dinner, and February 17th. So that's between Karen's and Winterfest. And if you don't know about it, the sign-up sheet's half and half at the bottom. Did you want to be a host or a guest? And, just a reminder, when you put down your phone number and email, please do it very clearly, because it's hard when I'm guessing. Anyway, yeah, so they're a lot of fun. It used to be called 7 at 7. Well, 7 p.m. is too late, but 7 people, that's kind of, where we're at, around that number. And
what do you call it now? So you get 7-ish at 7-ish?
the name came to me from other people who did this at Friendship Circle Dinners. Yeah. So,
So will those forms be in the foyer?
yeah, I will be handing them out, yeah.
And then will that be in the Pebbles?
Yes, it'll be in Pebbles.
Okay, it'll be in the Pebbles.
I hope it's in the Pebbles.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
And the other announcements
All
too.
right.
Okay, so service is now ended. If you are attending online, you can exit YouTube and connect to Cafe Conversations via Zoom. And if you're here at Eastrose, you're invited to remain, continue those wonderful conversations you were having earlier, and have some coffee. Thank you, John. Hope to see you next week, and next week bring a friend.